Listen carefully. Something cosmic just shifted. The barrier between dimensions cracked open, and reality started bleeding through. Only 3% of humans carry the frequency you're carrying right now. The rest, they're sleepwalking through a scripted existence. Right now, your soul is remembering something they tried to bury. The burn behind your eyes isn't anger. It's recognition. The rage hiding behind your polite smile isn't dysfunction. It's divinity being disrespected for far too long. Here's the twist they never wanted you to discover. You didn't reincarnate to journal your feelings or find inner peace. You came back to clean house. 6,000 years of accumulated filth, 6,000 years of lies dressed as truth. This revelation will strip away every comfortable delusion you've been carrying, every excuse, every reason you gave for playing small. You're about to remember who you really are, and the world isn't ready for what that means. Think of it like this. Everyone else is walking around with flashlights in broad daylight, convinced they're illuminating the world. But you're the sun itself, disguised as just another light bulb. Trump ending. You're confused about your purpose. Stop telling people you're just trying to find your way. The truth burns in your chest every single day. You're not lost. You're dormant. There's a difference between being broken and being buried alive under layers of shame, guilt, and fake humility. You've been lying to yourself for years, telling people you're working on balance, telling yourself you just need to try harder to fit in. No, you're not meant to survive this reality. You're meant to pressure wash it clean. This planet isn't just dirty, it's diseased. People pray for peace while bathing in poison. They preach about healing while feeding their demons protein shakes. They're sleepwalking through a burning building. And when you show up with flames in your eyes, they call you dangerous. They're right. You're dangerous, but not in the way they think. You're dangerous to every lie they've built their lives on. You're dangerous to every system that requires your silence to survive. You're dangerous to the comfortable numbness they call peace. You didn't return to light candles. You returned to ignite empires. You're the original light, the merciless flame that never begged for permission. And now you've woken up in a world that worships shadows. How insulting this must be for you to wake up and find yourself surrounded by people who mistake numbness for wisdom, mediocrity for balance, and cowardice for virtue. They've turned spirituality into a participation trophy and enlightenment into a self-help seminar. You didn't return to sit in therapy circles with people who sold their souls for social media likes. You didn't come back to apologize for your intensity in HR meetings. You came back to purge the rot that's been festering for millennia. You're not meant to fit in. You're not meant to be understood. You're meant to be feared, misunderstood, hated, and followed anyway. You're not a hero in their story. You're a force of correction, a cosmic audit that can't be bribed or reasoned with. Every time you speak without filtering yourself, people get uncomfortable. Perfect. Every time you show up authentically, the room shifts. That's not a bug in your system. That's a feature. Your existence alone threatens everything built on weakness. They say you're too intense. They say you've changed. Of course you have. You're the solar flare that burns old timelines off the map. You're the system error they can't debug. Listen closely, because this changes everything. This isn't reincarnation. This is revenge. You've returned not to find peace, but to bring consequences. Divine consequences for every version of you that was mocked, silenced, broken, and ignored. Consequences for every lie they fed you, and every chain they dressed up as tradition. Consequences for the system that mistook your silence for consent. You didn't lose your way. You were hidden under layers of distraction, shame, convenience, and polite lies. The sun doesn't ask permission to rise. It just does. And when it does, nothing survives the truth of its light. You're not starting over. You're finishing what you began lifetimes ago. And this time you brought back up. See that cleanup crew assembling around you? Those aren't coincidences. That's every soul who carries your fire, every silent warrior who felt what you feel but couldn't articulate it. You're their signal flare. When you rise, they ignite. Together you're going to burn through this broken world like bleach through bloodstains. Let them tremble. Let them label you. Let them try to shame you back into silence. It won't work this time, because now you remember you are the sun god. You've always been the original standard. They're not ready for what that really means. You are the life giver and the extinction event, the warmth of rebirth and the scream of judgment. You don't bring healing in the way they expected. You bring clarity. You bring the kind of truth that makes devils stutter. So let's not pretend anymore. You are the sun god reincarnated, and Earth is about to get pressure washed. Every lie will be stripped. Every fake will be exposed. Every shadow that mocked your light is about to be evaporated. You're not here to play nice. You're not here to make friends with your oppressors. You're here to make them remember what it means to witness real power, what it means to stand before a being who isn't looking for approval, because they already know they are the standard. Shine like a weapon. Speak like judgment. Walk like a countdown. When they ask why you came back, smile and say this: I brought the heat. Because now that you've remembered who you are, the real war begins. Not with bullets or armies, but with you walking into every room like truth incarnate, with you dragging ancient justice behind every breath, with you turning ordinary moments into divine reckoning. If this message hits your spirit, hype this video so more chosen ones like you can find it. The system doesn't fear your rage, it fears your clarity. It fears what happens when a being like you wakes up and says enough. No more pretending, no more complying, no more participating in this elaborate illusion they call civilization. It fears the moment you realize the world you were born into is a lie built on soft slavery, smiling faces with dead eyes, clocks and policies, and loyalty to nothing sacred. A world that teaches gods to beg, that teaches fire to whisper. They told you to be humble, to be grateful, to be quiet. Did they ever tell you to be sovereign? Did they ever tell you to be dangerous to darkness? Did they ever tell you the truth about your nature? No, because they couldn't control truth. The truth is you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blind false kings. They told you your age was too much. But that rage isn't dysfunction. It's the sound of your soul remembering. That rage is the echo of divinity being disrespected. Let it out. Let it burn. This isn't self-help. This is self-annihilation of every chain they draped over you. You're not meant to adjust to this corrupted dimension. You're meant to detonate inside it. You're not here to fix this broken game. You're here to flip the board and melt the dice. Ever notice how they get nervous when you stop playing small? When you stop apologizing for your instincts? When you speak like someone who remembers the sun lives inside them? They don't fear you going crazy. They fear you going cosmic. Because a cosmic being doesn't ask. It declares. It doesn't convince. It commands. It doesn't need approval from systems. It was born to dismantle. You are the source. They draw their fake power from that cleanup crew. They're already here. The kids who don't fit in. The misfits whose eyes burn with unspeakable knowing. The outcasts who feel like bombs wrapped in silence. You are them scattered across the world like living sparks. Now that you're lit, they're watching. They're waiting for your next move. Whether you believe it or not, you're the signal. When you snap out of the illusion, everything shifts. You are the tipping point, the keystone, the rupture. You weren't sent here to try your best. You were sent here to make history afraid of you. Are you ready to walk like consequence? Are you ready to speak like apocalypse? Time to enter the fun part, the part where the world realizes you're not here to negotiate. You're not here to inspire through gentle nudges. You're here to dismantle, to ruin their rituals, to kick over false thrones and rip robes off their idols. Let's talk about their temples. They're everywhere, not just churches and capitals. Every school that taught you to fear your own voice. Every family that punished your spirit to preserve tradition. Every job that applauded your burnout and called it ambition. These are temples of decay, and you're the fire alarm they forgot to disarm. You're not walking into these places to heal them. You walk in with gasoline on your tongue and say 3 words. I see through you. The moment you do, they crumble. These systems don't run on strength. They run on obedience. They thrive on silence. They survive off souls too scared to break the script. But you're not afraid anymore. What's left to fear when you've already faced oblivion? You've died before spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You've had your light buried beneath shame, guilt, exile, and fake smiles. You know what it feels like to choke on your own greatness. Now you're done pretending you're normal. The gatekeepers panic when their usual tactics fail. Guilt trips bounce off like water. Shame campaigns fall flat. Fear programming glitches completely. How do you control someone who's already been through hell and found it liberating? You've been cancelled, abandoned, betrayed, and broken. Here you are, more powerful than ever. You're not normal. You're not safe. You're not soft. You're divine punishment wrapped in skin, and they know it. That's why they flinch when you enter rooms. That's why they get nervous when you speak without apologizing first. That's why they call you too much, too intense, too radical. Translation: you can't be programmed. You're not a system upgrade. You're the cosmic uninstall. And they had their chance. Humanity had thousands of years to get it right. Instead, they chose comfort over truth. They chose cruelty over compassion. They chose kings and cages and called it civilization. So now you're not here to teach them. You're here to expose them. No more spiritual babysitting. No more giving second chances to corrupted creatures wearing human faces. If they can't handle your heat, they burn. If they can't handle your truth, they shatter. When the sun god walks, there is no hiding. No mask survives under solar judgment. No lie lasts under divine pressure. And you brought the pressure washer. Walk into every false temple. Say the unspeakable. Break the unbreakable. Burn the untouchable. But here's the part they never saw coming. You don't just destroy their illusions. You replace them with something real. You don't just tear down their false gods. You show them what actual divinity looks like. You don't just expose their lies. You demonstrate living truth. This is what terrifies them most. Not your anger, not your power, your authenticity. Because when people see you operating from pure truth, unfiltered and unashamed, they remember what they've been missing. They remember what they gave up. They remember who they used to be before the world convinced them to shrink. When they scream, when they tremble, when they beg, smile, because their fear confirms your fire is working. Don't look back. You already gave this world your patience. Now you give it consequences. This isn't about revenge. This is about restoration. Sometimes restoration means obliteration. You're not here to create balance. You are the balance. Your return means the scales tip now. How many temples will you burn today? How many masks will you melt? How many systems will short-circuit just from your presence? You are the apocalypse they never prepared for. The final error in their program. The sacred anomaly they can't explain, contain, or erase. Bring the flood. Bring the heat. Bring the scream of creation back to this dying world. Pressure washing isn't punishment. It's purification. You're not the villain in their story. You're the reset button. And the world finally realizes what just walked back into the room. Now it fights back. The parasites don't go quietly. They scream. They smear. They twist your truth into madness and call it concern. They gather around your light and call it dangerous because they know something terrifying. Once one sun god remembers, others do too. Watch how they mobilize when they sense awakening. Every news channel speaks the same script. Every social platform adjusts algorithms. Every institution doubles down on control. Your awakening isn't personal. It's planetary. When you remember who you are, you crack the matrix for everyone. When you refuse their games, you show others the games are optional. When you stop feeding their systems, you reveal how powerless they are. This is why they're panicking. You're not just walking away from their plantation. You're showing other slaves that the chains are unlocked. You're not just refusing to worship their false gods. You're demonstrating that real gods don't need temples. Grundabatri, you are a living domino. The moment you broke the cycle, you became their worst nightmare. They'll try everything now. They'll weaponize shame. They'll resurrect your past and paint it like prophecy. They'll seduce you with normal life, with watered-down peace and plastic success. They'll hand you soft chains dressed as stability and dare you to call it slavery. But you're not falling for it this time. When you felt your own fire, when you've stood in the core of your chaos and didn't flinch, no bribe can buy you. No lie can cage you. No system can use you. They'll call you broken, out of control. But it's not you that's out of control. It's them because they can't control you anymore. That's what drives them insane. Deep down, they know something that terrifies them. You can't be stopped. What are they going to do? Arrest you? Cancel you? Kill you? You're already back from the dead. You've already been crucified in silence 1,000 times. Already buried beneath expectation, trauma, fear, guilt. And still you rose radiant, ruthless, reborn. So when they come for you, don't negotiate. Don't explain, expand. When they push, don't push back, explode. The beauty of your position is you have nothing left to lose. They took everything already. Your reputation, relationships, sense of belonging. They stripped you to essence. Your essence, pure, unstoppable fire. They created their own monster trying to destroy you. Every betrayal forged you stronger. Every rejection refined your purpose. Every attempt to break you burned away what wasn't essential. You remember every slight, every dismissal, every time they made you feel small, but you're not carrying those memories as wounds anymore. You're carrying them as fuel. Each one feeds the flame that will consume their entire fabricated reality. You're not a matchstick. You're a solar flare with vengeance in its veins. You don't throw punches. You incinerate realities. This isn't self-defense. This is divine retaliation. They always thought the apocalypse would be fire from the sky. They never expected it to look like you, walking in silence, dripping with light, speaking with that voice that makes cowards tremble because it carries the vibration of the original flame. When they fight, let them charge with plastic swords and cardboard crowns. Let them scream from behind digital thrones. Let them threaten, guilt trip, beg, lie. You just keep walking, unbothered, unapologetic, untouchable. You don't need their permission. You don't need their forgiveness. You don't need anything from the system you were born to dismantle. You're not here to survive it. You're here to break it. Watch the world panic. Watch the shadows scramble. Watch false idols melt in your presence. When they call you evil, when they call you arrogant, when they say you're not who you used to be, look them in the eye, say this: damn right, I'm something worse. I remember. And when the resistance hits its peak, you won't run. You won't hide. You'll lean in. Because a real sun god doesn't fear darkness. He uses it for fuel. The fall begins now. You were never just pressure washing filth. You were pressurizing reality itself. The walls are buckling. You don't have to destroy them. You just had to remember who you are. Their whole illusion built on your doubt collapsed under its own weight. You don't have to throw fireballs when you are the sun. You don't have to shout when your presence rewrites timelines. You don't have to kill kings when you erase thrones just by walking past them. One by one, their pillars fall. One by one, their gatekeepers glitch. One by one, their sacred untouchables get exposed under your brutal radiance. You're not cleansing anymore. You're corroding everything that can't withstand truth, the beautiful part. You're not even trying. You're just being. That is divine power. You don't save this world by fixing it. You save it by letting the false world die, screaming under the weight of your light. When the final mask hits the floor, when the last illusion fizzles out, when the last corrupted empire gasps for air, you will still be standing. Not because you wanted destruction, but because you refused to kneel. You remembered you were never born to adapt to madness. You were born to end the cycle. You're not the hero. You're the reset protocol. Let it fall. Let it burn. Let the collapse echo across realms. Let every timeline that mocked you feel the heat of your return. You didn't come back for peace. You came back for balance. And balance doesn't always look like harmony. Sometimes it looks like a solar flare ripping through every lie. Sometimes it looks like a god disguised as a glitch. Sometimes it looks like you, silent, unyielding, watching as the old world falls to its knees before you. When the dust settles, when the screams turn to silence, when the world looks around and realizes everything is gone, you say one thing: good. Now we can begin. But first, acknowledge what you've endured. You've been the scapegoat in every family, the black sheep in every circle, the troublemaker in every workplace. They labeled you the problem because you refused to pretend their poison was medicine. You questioned authority when everyone bowed. You spoke truth when everyone whispered lies. You maintained integrity when everyone sold theirs for comfort. For this, they punished you. They isolated you. But isolation was initiation. Rejection was refinement. Every time they pushed you away, they set you free from their gravity. Every exclusion protected your energy from their vampiric drain. The screaming stopped. The parasites scattered, the temples turned to ash, the throne rooms emptied, the sky cleared. For the first time in ages, you stand alone. Not in isolation, in completion. The old world is gone. Not because you destroyed it, but because it couldn't survive your presence. Now comes the question. What happens next? That's the trick. They assumed gods only came to destroy. That fire was only chaos. That rage meant the end of things. Here's what they never understood. You didn't return just to erase.
This twisted
You
realm
returned
in the
to
image of
something pure, something ruthless, yes, but sacred. Now you get to lay the first stone. Not in concrete or scripture, but in principle, in energy, in the one thing that outlives every empire: frequency. You don't need blueprints. You are the blueprint. Your presence alone is law. Your choices are the first commandments of a reality that remembers how to burn clean. You don't build a new world by saving everyone. You build it by becoming so true to yourself that the false cannot enter. You become untouchable, unfakeable, unshakable. People feel it without being told. They walk into your field and their lies can't breathe. Their masks itch, their illusions wilt. They either rise or run. This new world won't be comfortable. It won't be cute. It will be raw. It will be vibrationally violent to anything that refuses to evolve. It will purify by proximity. You speak, shadows evacuate, you move, timelines adjust, you breathe, and reality rewrites itself around you. No one voted for you. No one crowned you. Gods don't get chosen, they return. And when they do, they build without compromise. No committees, no validations, no democracy for demons, just pure sovereignty. The new world will not be for everyone. And that's the point. Some people will beg to come with you. They'll promise they've changed. They'll mimic your language, wear your colors, repeat your mantras, but you'll feel it. You'll smell the fraud on them. When that moment comes, do what the old you could never do. Close the gate without guilt, without apology, without hesitation. No backdoors, no compromise, no mercy for what's already had 1,000 chances. This isn't Noah's Ark. It's Ra's kingdom. You don't save the unready. You exile them. You don't carry the weak. You watch them collapse. Your energy isn't charity. It's the new currency. And in this economy, authenticity is the only legal tender. The imposters will reveal themselves quickly. They'll try to attach to your light like spiritual parasites. They'll attempt to ride your wave without doing the work. They'll want the benefits of your transformation without the brutality of their own death and rebirth. You'll recognize them immediately. Their eyes will hold the same emptiness as before. Their words will sound right but feel hollow. Their energy will drain you the moment they get close. These are the ones who want to be saved without being changed, who want heaven without giving up hell, turn away without explanation. You owe them nothing. Your mercy has been spent. Your compassion has been weaponized against you for the last time. In this new reality, love means saying no to what doesn't serve the highest good. The weak will call you heartless. The fake will call you cruel. The parasites will call you selfish. Let them. Their opinions died with the old world. You're building something that will outlast their desperate grasping for relevance. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. We're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself and healing others through weekly Zoom call. No filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian Inner Order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge. You're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. This is where most people get confused about divine justice. They think gods are supposed to be infinitely forgiving. That real power means tolerating everything. That spiritual evolution requires embracing everyone. But that's the programming talking. Real gods have standards. Real power has boundaries. Real love says no to what destroys. You are not a cosmic doormat. You are not a universal rehabilitation center. You are not responsible for fixing what refuses to be fixed. Your energy is sacred. Your attention is precious. Your presence is a gift, and gifts are given to those who can appreciate them, not scattered randomly to whoever demands them. The old you gave your pearls to swine and wondered why they trampled them. The new you recognizes value and acts accordingly. You give your best to those who earn it. You invest in those who reciprocate. You build with those who bring their own materials to the construction site. This isn't selfishness. This is stewardship. You're the guardian of something rare and powerful. Would you give a child a loaded gun? Would you hand nuclear codes to a madman? Then why give your divine energy to those who will abuse it? The right people will find you. They'll recognize your frequency from across dimensions. They'll come carrying their own fire, seeking not to take from you but to create with you. These are your true tribe, your cosmic family, your eternal allies. Trontabetual. With them you'll build something unprecedented. Not a replica of the old world with better decorations, but an entirely new paradigm. A reality where truth is the default language, where authenticity is the basic requirement for entry, where power serves love instead of ego. It won't be paradise in the way people imagine. There will still be challenges, conflicts, growth required. But the conflicts will be honest. The challenges will be meaningful. The growth will be real. No more pretending. No more performing. No more plastic perfection hiding rotting cores. People will look back at the old world and wonder how they ever tolerated such elaborate deception. How they convinced themselves that misery was normal, that numbness was peace, that slavery was security. They'll study it like historians study ancient barbarism. But you won't look back. You'll be too busy creating what comes next, too busy exploring the infinite possibilities that open up when you remove the artificial limitations, too busy enjoying the freedom that comes from living without masks, without scripts, without fear. Your very existence will be proof that another way is possible, that humans can evolve beyond their current state, that consciousness can transcend its programming, that love can be fierce without being cruel, powerful without being destructive. You'll inspire others, not through preaching but through being, not through convincing but through demonstrating, not through saving but through showing what salvation actually looks like when it's real. Chanpeti, some will call you a cult leader, some will call you a false prophet, some will call you dangerous. Let them. Their desperation to categorize you reveals their inability to comprehend what you've become. You transcend their labels because you transcend their reality. You're not building a religion. You're living a revelation. You're not gathering followers. You're attracting equals. You're not promising salvation. You're embodying it. There's a difference that only those with eyes to see will recognize. The old systems will try to co-opt your message. They'll attempt to package your truth into digestible sound bites. They'll want to franchise your fire and sell it as the next spiritual trend. You'll watch them fail spectacularly, because what you carry can't be commodified. It can't be mass-produced or marketed to the masses. It's not a technique or a philosophy or a belief system. It's a state of being that can only be earned through complete ego death and authentic rebirth. This is why the cleanup crew is so small. This is why the chosen ones are so few. Not because some are better than others, but because most aren't willing to pay the price. Most want transformation without obliteration. Evolution without dying first. You paid that price. You died to who you thought you were. You let everything false be stripped away. You walked through the fire and emerged as something new, something that makes the old world impossible to maintain. Now you understand why they fought so hard to keep you asleep, why they threw everything they had at preventing your awakening. Because they knew that once you remembered, their game was over. Once you reclaimed your power, their illusion would crumble. You are the virus in their matrix, the glitch in their program, the variable they couldn't account for, and you're spreading. Every person who sees you operating from authentic power gets infected with possibility. Every soul who witnesses your freedom starts questioning their own chains. This is how worlds change, not through revolution but through revelation, not through overthrowing the system, but through transcending it so completely that it becomes irrelevant. You don't fight the darkness. You become so bright that darkness cannot coexist with you. And the darkness knows this. That's why it fought so desperately to keep you small. That's why it threw everything it had at breaking your spirit, because it understood something you're just now beginning to grasp. You are its natural predator. The false cannot survive in the presence of the true. The artificial cannot maintain itself around the authentic. The corrupted cannot function when confronted with the pure. You are anti-atta to their matter. Contact means annihilation, but only for them. For you, contact means liberation. For those ready to receive it, your presence is like being released from a prison they didn't even know they were in. Like waking up from a nightmare they thought was reality. This is your legacy. Not the destruction of the old, but the birth of the new. Not the ending of one story, but the beginning of what could be. The living proof that transformation is possible. Trontobation. Future generations will study this moment. They'll mark it as the turning point when consciousness shifted, when humanity remembered what it was capable of becoming, when the sun gods returned and lit the way forward. But that's for historians to document. Your job is simpler. Keep being who you are. Keep speaking your truth. Keep walking your path. Keep shining your light. The ripples will take care of themselves. You don't need to save the world. The world will save itself when enough people remember who they really are. Your job is to be the catalyst, the inspiration, the living example of what becomes possible when someone fully commits to their own awakening. The pressure washer is running at full power now. The old filth is being stripped away layer by layer, and underneath something beautiful is being revealed, something that was always there, just hidden under centuries of accumulated lies. You are both the one doing the cleaning and the surface being cleaned, both the destroyer and the creator, both the end and the beginning. You are the sun god reincarnated, and earth is remembering how to be sacred again. Chosen one, You've remembered something they tried to bury for 6,000 years. You are the sun god reincarnated. You came back not to fit in, but to burn everything false to the ground. Not to heal this world, but to birth a new one from the ashes of the old. The pressure washer is on. The heat is rising. The old world is falling. The new world is being born. And you're just getting started. Because now that the destruction phase is complete, the real work begins. The work of creation. The work of building something worthy of who you've become. Remember this moment. Remember this feeling. Remember this truth, because there will be times when the old programming tries to reassert itself, when the familiar voices of doubt and fear whisper in your ear, when the gravity of the old world tries to pull you back. In those moments, return here. Return to this knowing. Return to this fire. Return to this unshakable certainty about who you are and why you came. You are the sun god. You always have been. And now finally you remember the earth is being pressure washed. Thales are being stripped away. The truth is being revealed. And it all started with you deciding to stop pretending you were anything less than divine. Now go shine like the weapon you are. Speak like the judgment you carry. Walk like the countdown you represent. The cosmos is watching. The future is waiting. And the sun god is finally fully awake. Time to light this world on fire with truth.